Welcome back. In this A to Z of AWS series, we are going to discuss about Amazon S3 batch operations. So this feature within your Amazon S3 is a very commonly used feature. It is going to help you with automating a lot of core management tasks that you perform in Amazon S3 object storage. So I will give you a hands-on demonstration on how you can use this feature to perform a lot of different tasks. And in this particular video, we are going to have this agenda covered. So we are going to discuss about the business challenges that this particular feature is going to address, what is the purpose of this tool, and then what are the different terminologies that we have within this batch operations. And we are also going to see what kind of case studies we have for our customer, and then for the customers that we have got implemented this. Finally, we will also see some practical demos of how you can use this tool, and then we will see a demo of the batch operations that we are going to perform. And most of the customer, either if you are a solutions architect or if you are discussing about this feature with the corresponding business user or the business team, they might be interested in understanding how the pricing works for this particular feature, right, for this tool. So we'll also go through the costing elements that are associated with this batch operations at the very end. Okay, so let's start with the business challenge that we have. So in like your personal drive, you have your Google Drive or OneDrive. So you know, right? Day by day, you guys are capturing a lot of pictures, videos, and then it is growing like anything. Similarly, in the business, for every corporate, they have their data footprint, which is expanding very quickly, and then exponentially it grows day by day. So there is a lot of challenge as we get into too much of consumption. So data is money these days, right? Everyone knows that the information is very, very critical to the business, and we need to handle it very carefully and then smartly, so that we don't end up paying a lot of charges for your data capacity. So data capacity, the growth is very exponential, very quick, and within few days, like you might end up occupying a lot of data capacity. I could see a lot of people are storing exabytes of data in Amazon S3. So we call it as object in when your files are getting stored in Amazon S3. So generally we create an Amazon S3 bucket, and then we store billions of objects there. So if you have very few objects like 5, 10, 15, you can easily move them, you can update them if you want to change something on those objects, like changing the permissions, or copying from one location to another location, or updating the tags, or whatever. Like if you want to restore a set of files, so any batch activities that you are performing, so if it is in very small scale, then you can handle it manually. But then when you have billions of objects, exabytes of capacity, then you cannot do it manually. So if you're doing it manually, then it is a very time consuming effort, and then it is also error prone. Human make mistakes. So manual tasks are not a good solution for doing a bulk operation like a batch operation. So I'll show you how exactly you can overcome these challenges. So Amazon S3 provides an inbuilt option called Amazon S3 batch operation. So you can also integrate these particular service or feature with the Amazon Lambda, AWS Lambda, or AWS notification service or monitoring service, so that you can continuously monitor what is happening in this particular scheduled batch job, and then you can also get a report from the outcome of the activity job that you have performed. So what you can do is, like, this S3 batch operation is a sub feature within your Amazon S3 itself. It's a native feature, so where you can use it for running some kind of management activities, like copying certain files, replicating them, or even if you want to remove some access, or if you want to lock certain objects. So you can do all bulk operations at one single place, and then you can also track them. You can also get a notification once the job complete. You can get a complete detailed report of what has happened in your batch operation. So Amazon S3 batch operation is a data management service. It is used to handle which you can use for easily processing hundreds, millions, or billions of S3 objects in a very simple and straightforward fashion. So you can copy objects from one bucket to another bucket, or you can also set permission. You can restore it from Amazon Glacier, which is the archiving storage, and you can also trigger an AWS Lambda function. See, for example, I have seen a lot of people are storing images, videos, log files, and so on. And whenever there is a new image or a video, so some particular tool might have different compatibility. So you might have to convert that image from JPEG to PNG, or video from one format MP4 to another format, and then similarly, your logger files might have to be compressed and then send it to some SIEM tool. So you might have a variety of use cases. So whenever there is a new file coming in, you can also trigger the Lambda function to do the automation or do the transformation, transcoding, or conversion of that file format, or compressing that file format, making it into a zip file, and all those things. So you can also trigger external services like Lambda function whenever there is a new file coming into your Amazon S3. So S3 batch operation can handle billions of objects at scale, and this feature is going to be very straightforward. You can handle it from the command line. You can use one single API request to do a bulk set of activities. So you don't have to spend additional effort to build and maintain an additional application. So this is a native sub feature within your Amazon S3. You can do all these stuff. So these are all the top 5, I would say, the changes that we generally perform from management or operations team perspective. So we generally copy certain objects from one bucket to another bucket, or we might have in order to have redundancy, we might replicate objects between buckets. You might also replace the tag sets to apply certain new tags that you want to apply, or you can also modify the permissions. You can restore the objects from S3 Glacier to Amazon S3. And you can also convert, transcode the file formats, as I said, from one bucket to another bucket. You can invoke a Lambda function and then you can do it. So these are the general common operational activities or management tasks that we generally perform on Amazon S3 objects, like copying them between buckets, invoking the Lambda function whenever there is a new file coming in, replacing the tags, deleting the tags, updating the permissions, restoring the file, updating the lock retention. So you can do a lot of stuff here. So these are the common operations use cases that we generally deal with. So when it comes to Amazon S3 batch operation, it is a step-by-step process where you need to have some S3 bucket where you are having certain number of objects. So those objects you are having in excess quantity, like thousands or billions or trillions, where you cannot go and manually copy them or update them. So what you can do is you can create a manifest file that will tell us what kind of stuff you want to do, from which S3 bucket to S3 destination S3 bucket you want to copy or replicate, or whatever you want to do. You can define whatever activities or tasks in that manifest file, and then you can also generate an inventory report if in case you want to generate a report and filter down certain files or certain objects that you want to act upon. You can also get an inventory report within Amazon S3, and you can go and update them in the manifest file. So the manifest file can be in a JSON format, or it can be in a comma separated value format, CSV format. And the action that you are performing, it needs certain privileges. So in order to have in order to provide the S3 privileges to the bucket that you are going to perform, or for the batch operations, you need to assign a particular set of privileges or permissions. So I'll show you how to create an IAM role and then use those particular role for this batch operation. So ideally, like if you want AWS resource to get control of a particular task or activity, you need to create an IAM role instead of having a separate user ID. You can go and create a session token service kind of stuff using the IAM role. I'll show you how to do that, how to use them in the batch operations job. And we will also track the activity, and then I'll show you how to run the job, how to track them, and how to get a completion report with detailed information. So these are the different stuff that you will come across. So we'll create IAM role, you will trigger a backup batch job, and then you will monitor them. So some of the customer use cases. So Capital One is a financial organization. It is one of the most recognized brand in the Americas. So they have used this tool, and then they have used the Amazon S3 batch operation to copy the data between two regions to increase the redundancy, and also they were able to standardize the data footprint. And it was millions of objects, and they completed the project in a few hours. So if you have done a manual work, or it might have taken weeks of manual effort if in case you if Capital One did not have this feature. Similarly, they got a complete auditing report, what kind of objects got copied over, was there any challenges, whether the permissions were intact. So all those details were available, and they were very happy about it. Similarly, Teespring, which is a merchandise online on-demand product service company, they have also had petabytes of data stored in Amazon S3, and what they need to do is they want to do a lifecycle management to optimize the cost, and they used Amazon S3 object to move the content which are rarely used from the standard storage to Amazon S3 Glacier. So by doing that, they also saved the time because they used S3 batch operations, and they used a logic like the older files to get transitioned, and they also saved a lot of money by moving those objects, like up to 80% of cost savings they had it. So E Plus is another company which is a consulting partner for Amazon. It's a AWS advanced consulting partner. So they have also used Amazon S3 batch operation, and which have definitely saved a lot of time, complexity, and painstaking chore of work, because S3 batch operation has completely automated what they try to do, like copying certain content and then doing some automation, creating dashboards. So all those things were able to be fulfilled by using the S3 operation. So this is another use case. Now we will get into the demo. So in order to do the demo, we are going to have two different S3 bucket, and we will have some files, objects stored in the source S3 bucket, and then we will try to see what are the different options we can perform, like updating the tags or copying some files or replicating files between those buckets. And then we'll also track the progress. We'll also get a audit report at the end of the job completion. Okay, so we need to create an IAM role, as I said, to provide the relevant privileges to that IAM, to that S3 batch operations job. So I've given a kind of high-level hint on how much will be the cost. So when you're performing an operations, batch operations, you will be charged 25 cents per job. And then if you're dealing with 1 million object operations are performed, so you'll be charged $1 per million of object what you're planning to change. But if you're moving the data from one region to another region, so data transfer out is chargeable. So we will also have to think about it. And then so if you want to just try this out, you can create a couple of buckets and then try to have some few objects, like 10, 15 objects, and then you can understand the concept. Instead of spending a lot of money to understand it, you can just create a couple of buckets, store some objects, and then try to explore the batch operations. I'll show you how to do that. Let me log into the console. So I'm on the AWS console now. You can go and search for Amazon S3, and then open it out. It is a scalable object storage in the cloud. And we also need to have the IAM role created. I will also have the IAM role created. So let it be in the second tab. So here you see the option called batch operation. So this is what we are planning to explore in this particular session. So I'll go and create a couple of buckets here. So I'll just refresh it and then see like what are the different buckets I've got. So I'm going to create a couple of new buckets. I will create some couple of general purpose buckets here. So let me call it as stan source S3 bucket 00 or 001 0001. Just for the identification, I'm just giving a little, because I might have created similar names in the past. So I'll just go and enable versioning, so that if there is multiple variants of the same file, it will keep all the different versions. And then let me create it. I'm not going to change anything. So I'm just creating a S3 bucket to store some objects. Let me upload some files into this. And then let me also create a new bucket. And then we will try and configure replication, tagging, copying the buckets and all those things. So I'll call it a stan destination S3 bucket 001. Okay, so this is the destination bucket I'm creating. I'll just enable the versioning there also. If the source which is replicating or copying the content has got versioning, you have to enable the versioning on the destination side. So which means like you need to have the same set of configuration or settings in both source and the destination. There should not be a mismatch. So is what I'm trying to convey there. So let me log into this. Just we get into this Amazon S3 bucket. Let me try to upload certain files. So what you can do is you can drag and drop, or you can just try to selectively upload it. I've got some files which I generally use for creating a static website. I will just copy all of them, and then let me exclude this manifest file. So this is the manifest file. I will open and show you what exact content it is having. So the manifest file can be in a JSON format or in a CSV format, but let me just upload this first. I've got how much 10 files here. Let me upload them first. So it will take a few seconds to complete. So once after this gets completed, I will also upload the manifest file. So the source bucket name is this. What I will do is I will just go and update the source bucket name in my manifest file. So the manifest file is having the data about what are the buckets that we are dealing with, what are the different objects we are dealing with. So it is a CSV file. It generally gets opened in Notepad or even in your Excel. You can open it whatever is comfortable for you. So let me go and try and find and replace this thing. Okay, let me find out. Control plus H. So I will just go and find out the source bucket. So this is the source bucket I've got. So it doesn't have the S3. Okay, so I'm just replacing all of them. So in this file, so you need to have the source bucket name, comma, followed by the object which you are dealing with. So if you are just pulling out an inventory report from AWS S3 bucket, so you will get exact same content. Okay, I'll replace all of them. Okay, now I've got the source bucket with the files. Let me update this, save this manifest file. So once the manifest file is saved, I will also upload them. Okay, just a second. I'll close it. Okay, let me just move it. I will just upload the manifest file. Okay, let me drag and drop. Okay, upload it. Okay, so I've got some objects to deal with, and I've also got the manifest file, which is in CSV format. You can put it in JSON format also. So I've got one more bucket, which is completely empty. The destination bucket is completely empty. I will try to duplicate it and then have it here, so that once after the replication or the copy job is complete, we will go and verify whether the files are intact in the destination. So now, in order to perform the batch operation, you need to go to the Amazon S3, and here on the left, you have the option to select batch operation. This is mainly to create a job which you can perform in an automated way. Whatever the management tasks that you generally perform, you can go and do it in an automated fashion. So you can create a job here, and then so it is asking me which region you are dealing with, and then it is asking me the manifest file reference here, and then so I mean, you can either have a JSON file or you can save it in CSV format. I'm going to select the CSV file. I'm already having it in my S3 bucket, just we uploaded it, right? So you can go and select the file that you have uploaded, the CSV batch operations file. The file name can be anything. You just have to have it in the extension of .csv or .json file. So I have just selected the manifest file. What exactly, I mean, which are the list of objects it is going to uh, perform the changes. So it is giving me the option whether you want to update the tags or replace the tags, update the permission, or you want to enable lock, or you want to do a replication, or whether you want to have restoration from Glacier to your standard storage, or whether you want to copy, or whenever there is a new file, whether you want to invoke a Lambda function, you can also invoke that. So let's copy the content. So I want to copy it to a destination bucket. You can just select whatever bucket we have got. I've just got this here. I will just choose it. So if you are doing it between region, then you have to pay for the data transfer cost. Okay, so just be mindful about it. So you can change the storage class if you want to save some cost in the destination. If it is just for redundancy, you can have standard infrequently accessed or one zone IA, which can save a lot of cost for you. So if you want to update some more things like the checksum, or if you want to replace some tags, I can also do it. So let me add something like my organization name is Kilabistan. And if I want to add something like the environment is prod or dev or whatever, so I've just added a couple of tags, okay, just for my thing. And if you want to update some permissions or metadata, you can also do that. Now, in order to copy this particular thing, you can just give some description, copying certain files, copying 10 files, 10 objects between buckets, and update couple of tags is what I'm doing, right? So let me just put that there, and then you can also get a completion report in your S3 bucket. I will just create a separate folder so that I'll just choose this path and then add a folder path here saying reports. So if you want to, I mean, it will create a folder, okay, if it is not there. If you have the folder already there, you can just select it directly, or you can also give the path. So this is the format you need to follow. So if I want to give some path, I've just created I mean, it is going to create a folder because this destination bucket does not have anything. So once after I save it, it will go and create a reports folder. I'll show you. And this is where you need to select the role that is going to have the privileges of the batch operation. So in order to do that, you have to go to IAM, go to roles, and then create a role which is appropriate for this batch operations. So under AWS service, you have to select the use case. So here we are dealing with Amazon S3. So and then within Amazon S3, we are going to use the batch operations. So the batch operations is what is going to assume this role, and then it will perform the batch operation job, whatever we are doing. So I will give the Amazon S3 permission. So I don't want to give any other access because we are just dealing with Amazon S3, and whatever you feel is a relevant level of permission, you can just give that and then give it some name. Stan S3, what is that? Batch operations is what I'm just giving. Okay, and then create it. Now, once after it is done, you can just go to that wizard, give it a refresh, and then in the drop down, you will be able to choose it by entering the name, Stan S3 batch operations. So this is what we created. I've just selected that, and then let me click on next. And then this is going to show me the complete summary of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to copy some certain files, and then the manifest file is in the CSV format. And I've given the columns like this. I've got the source bucket and the content or the object that I'm dealing with. So on the destination side, it is standard, and then the bucket type is general purpose bucket. And then it is also telling me that I've asked to add a couple of tags and then replace them in the destination bucket. And then I've asked to copy the metadata, the permissions, and then I've just given some description. I've also asked to generate a completion report and store it in this particular path. Okay, and this is the IAM role that I'm using to perform this batch operation. So you can just go through the summary and then just create the job. And once after the job is created, it will be listed as a new job under the status here. And after 1 or 2 minutes, it will be ready for submission. So it is saying me, it is awaiting my confirmation to run it. You can just select it. And on the top, you have the option to run the job. You can again validate it, verify it before you run it. You can just go through the entire thing again. And then finally, at the very bottom right, you will have the run job option. So you click on the run job option, it will trigger the copy job, and then you can see the completion status. After a few seconds, you should be able to find out the status. So I should do, so here, if I refresh it, I should see some files coming in, plus the reports folder getting created. So I can see the files coming in, as well as the reports folder is available. If I go inside that, I'll see a JSON file with the complete job report. So if inside this, you will see a JSON report file. Yeah, this is the file that will have the complete status of what are the content that was copied and that are available inside this. So this is a JSON file. You can just download it and then get that opened, or let me just do one thing. Okay, just open it here. So anyways, it is downloading to my machine. So you can just open it in your local machine. If you want to open it in Excel or in a Notepad or Notepad++, whatever is your favorite option, you can just open it. So I've got this manifest file. Let me double click on that. And you can see that the job is succeeded and it has completely updated it. And then you will be able to see the status report. So, and again, there is another file which has been created like .csv file. You can go and check the results there. So under the reports folder, you will also see one more file, results, which will be in a CSV format. That will have the complete status of each of your jobs here. Just let's go one step back, give it a refresh, and then it should create one more file in sometime. So that will be named as results. So this is where you have to go and check it. And you can go and open this CSV file. Let's see if I'm able to open it here, or I can have to download it. Okay, it is downloading it. It is not able to open on the fly there. Let me just open it. So it is going to open it in my Excel sheet, and then I can go and verify what kind of status it is, and confirm whether the activity was successful on all of the files. If I find some errors, I will have a separate different status code. So it's all done. We are good. So we are able to see that the task is complete. I can go and verify it here. So this active one should have to change it to completed. So perfect. And I can also go and clone the job if I want to run it again, or if I want to view the details, I can just view some more details. It will give me the complete summary, what it has done, how many objects it copied, and then what is the success ratio, how many files got failed. I will be able to see that options completely here. Even you'll be able to see how much time it took to complete it. Within 13 seconds, it was able to complete the job, which was only very few 10 files, right? So 10 objects. So it was able to do it. Okay, so we also asked to update the tag in the destination bucket. Let's go and check that, whether the tags were updated. So let me open one of the file and then go and check the metadata, scroll down. So under the tagging section, I'm able to find it. Perfect. So it has added both the keys that we have added, organization and the environment, with the respective values. So we are able to see how batch operations can effectively handle some of the manual work that we generally do, like updating the permissions, copying the tags, or updating the tags, replacing the tags, updating logs, copy, replicate. So a lot of manual work can be efficiently done using this tool. So customers are heavily using this particular feature for copying the content, or to transcode or convert some content coming in one format to another format. So there are different use cases. So even you can integrate with Amazon recognition service. It can go and check the bucket which has got videos to find out what kind of content it has got, whether it has got some non-approved content or whatever. So you can just go and recognize what exactly it is there, and then you can notify, you can monitor it. You can also update it in a DynamoDB table. So a lot of integration can be done. So based on the use case, for example, if you're replicating within the same region, we call it a same region replication. But if you're doing it across the region, we call it as cross region replication. If you're doing a cross region replication, then data transfer out is separately chargeable, and then there is a cost for each job that you are running. There is a 25 cents charge that you will get, the bill you will get, and then whatever the amount of storage you are storing in Amazon S3, that will be considered for the pricing. And whatever the number of objects that you are operating, like whether replicating or moving, so you can also use that. And then finally you have the job cost added to it. So this is what I want to show you. So it's a very, very powerful tool, very good feature from Amazon, which you can use. And then once after you are done, just go and get the cleanup done, so that you don't have to end up paying something. Let me first empty this. If in order to delete the bucket should not have any content. So let me just go and clean it up first. So I'm just trying to conclude with what we have done at the beginning. So let me just go and see. Yeah, it has got the content. Let me go and empty it first before I delete it. So follow the instructions that they are asking us to do. Once after you are cleaned up, just go and delete it. Now you have to give the bucket name. Okay, so you can just go and do the same thing for the other one. Perfect. So we are done. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. Okay, so try to explore it by doing on your own. And then if in case you have something, use the comment section, or you can feel free to reach out to me directly.